Welcome to a brand new episode of Johnson's Court. Today, I'm super excited to be with you guys all the way from Lebanon, Ohio. I am on a work trip, so I am in another state today, but it's super fun to be able to do these Johnson's Court, these podcasts on the road. You know, it's just something that is different when you have, you're not at home all the time, you're not in your same environment, you're on the move, which is really fun. But with that being said, this video is coming out on Friday, a day after Thursday night. It's been a busy fall, guys, so I'm completely sorry about that. But thank you guys so much for sticking with us and being with us, and hopefully you guys are riding along with this season just as much as we are. So with that being said, we are having fun so far. It's week 5 of the NFL, which is really cool. And which is even cooler is last week in our picks, me, Beagle, and Nick all went 10-6. How unbelievable is that? We all went 10-6, the same exact record. So, it's just funny because we all didn't pick the same games last week. There were a few games in there that were a little different. But there were some in there that, we did lose together, which got us all three of us at 10-6, which is kind of funny. But with that being said, it's week 5, guys. It's here. It's already here. Thursday night football played. Once again, didn't spear our picks because I already got theirs, and didn't do mine either because I already knew who I was going to pick even after this game was already played. So here we go. For week 5, the first matchup was between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Atlanta Falcons got the dub on this. This went into overtime. Kirk Cousins balled out on Thursday Night Football. Now, me personally, I didn't have the Falcons winning this game. I had the Bucs winning. I do believe in Baker Mayfield. I believe that, they'll probably win this division. But with that being said, since the Falcons got this win, that's a huge win for them in that division. So, that could turn out costly at the end of the year depending on what, their record is. And, do you win the division or will you be that final playoff spot? So, me personally here, I went to Bucs. Nick went to Bucs, and so did Beagle. So we all got that pick wrong. We're all 0-1 right off the bat. Now this week is also a little fun because we have a 9:30 game all the way in London. But Drake London was playing Thursday night, so I'm just kidding, guys. No, but Drake London was playing on Thursday. But in London at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday is the New York Jets versus the Minnesota Vikings. This game should be pretty good with, the Vikings, they're flowing on offense, they're flowing on defense. They almost lost last week to the Packers after scoring 28 unanswered points, and then the Packers almost coming back and beating them. So, yes, you can build a big lead, but you got to be able to keep that big lead. With that being said, the Jets didn't score a touchdown last week and still almost won the game. Now, I know conditions were a little bit rainy, windy, it had, all these different things to play in it. But with that being said, I do think the Vikings win this game I would say they're both on the road. I don't know who, I guess you could say that the Jets will have a little bit of a home field advantage because Aaron Rodgers has been around in the league longer, and, that could have something to do with it. But the Vikings have the best wide receiver in the league with Justin Jefferson, so maybe it's a home game for the Vikings. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Nick went to Vikings, and so did Beagle. So we could all be 0-2 or 1-1 just like that. But then we start at 1 o'clock. We have the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears. We have the Andy Dalton Carolina Panthers, and they are 1-3. Now, the record could be a little bit different if things go because Andy Dalton's been having a heyday every single time he steps on the field. He's been playing like an elite quarterback, like a QB1 that he is in the league. Now, the Chicago Bears have been playing pretty well as well. They're 2-2. And, do I think that the Bears win 8 games this year? No. Does their schedule on how easy their schedule is? Could they win 8 games? Absolutely. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. On paper, the Bears should win this game, but I feel like, Andy Dalton's going to have, something to say about that. But how well does Andy Dalton keep playing? It is on the road. It is in the Windy City. It is, at the Bears. And since it is at home for them, this would be, a number 1 draft pick versus a number 1 draft pick if Bryce Young was still there. And I think that might be a little better matchup just because, I don't think Caleb Williams is that good, and I don't think Bryce Young is that good. But, I think you do kind of give the advantage here to the Panthers. But I'm taking the Bears because they are at home. Nick is going to take the Bears, and so is Beagle. So look at that. Beagle's going to pick the Bears every week. But me and Nick, depending on who the Bears play, we'll see what we want here. But all same picks there again. Then your next 1:00 game is the Browns versus the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders have been playing on fire with Jaden Daniels, guys. They are 3-1 and they're on top. They're top of their division right now. The Browns, they're 1-3. They're the opposite of the top of their division. Browns are a better team than what their record shows, but they're playing like they are 1-3. So you're 1-3 because you play like it. Commanders are 3-1 because they're playing like it. Jaden Daniels is having himself a day. LSU prodigy right there, playing really well. And I think they keep that up at home. Yes, the Browns have a good defense, but, I think Jaden Daniels, rides some momentum. They're clicking on offense, and I think they get another win here at home. Now, Nick went Commanders. Beagle, let's see here. He forgot to say who he was picking here when he gave me his list of picks, so I'll get that in here. But right now, it's a question mark on what he wants to do. So that could either make or break him. Does he have a better record than me and Nick because he maybe picks the Browns or he picks the Commanders here? Don't know, but we'll find out. Your next 1:00 game is the Miami Dolphins versus the Patriots. Now, if Tua was still playing or was still as their QB, I would pick the Dolphins for sure here. But the Dolphins are 1-3 and the Patriots are 1-3. Both teams are playing that like right now. This is a coin flip type of game. Personally, I'm going to pick the Patriots here because I just think they're better coached. And I think they're just a little bit of a better team when you're playing the Dolphins because Tua is your QB and it's very hard to replace him. And Dolphins didn't really do anything, to have a good enough backup to be like, hey, we can still be contenders with this backup in there. So, as a Dolphins fan, as everyone's just kind of waiting for Tua to come back, or if he does come back, we'll see what happens there. So I'm going Patriots here. And I don't say that very often. Nick's going to go the Patriots, and so is Beagle. Your next 1:00 game is the Indianapolis Colts versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Colts could be playing better. I don't know if AR is playing or not because he was hurt, but they're 2-2. But don't worry, Joey Flacco is here to save the day. He was able to beat the Steelers last week. But the Jaguars are 0-4. They're playing like 0-4. Trevor Lawrence got paid one of the biggest deals. I think maybe made him the highest paid QB in the league right now, and he's just not playing like it at all. They're 0-4. As funny as this is, it's at home for the Jaguars. I could see the Colts slipping up and losing this one, but as cool as Joey Flacco is, I don't see that happening. So I'm going Colts here, but if we lose, it's because for some reason there's a fire lit under Trevor Lawrence's butt. But Nick is going to go Colts obviously here, and so is Beagle. So as of right now, we are really picking the same teams, which is kind of funny. At 1:00, you've got the Buffalo Bills versus the Houston Texans. This is a revenge game for Stephon Diggs. How well does he play, his first game back playing Buffalo? It's not at Buffalo. It is at home for the Texans, so that makes it a little bit easier for him. But both these teams are 3-1. So, I think this might be your 1:00 game of the week, because how good can Buffalo be still without Stephon Diggs, their number one wide receiver that they don't have anymore? How good can the Texans be after, they were able to go to the playoffs, and are they able to keep up that kind of high level, versus good teams and good QBs in the league? It is a home for the Texans. C.J. Stroud is my fantasy quarterback. That doesn't have anything to do with it, but I am going the Houston Texans here. Let's see here. Ooh, we differ here. Nick is going the Bills, which, like I said, it's not a bad choice. This is probably game of the 1:00 game of the week. And then Beagle's going to go the Texans. So do the Bills get this win? Can I can't think of Josh Allen. I couldn't think of his name for some reason. Can he get that win and show the league that they can win without their number one receiver? Can they do it? Your last 1:00 game is the Baltimore Ravens versus Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I guess you could say, oh, hey, maybe this was the 1:00 game of the week. But it's not, because the Bengals have not been playing like they have been. Now, if they were playing better and they weren't 1-3, I might say something different. But the Ravens are 2-2. Their record should reflect 4-0, but it doesn't, because they just haven't been playing like that. So they're 2-2, but Derrick Henry did have a field day versus the Buffalo Bills last week. Had, I think, 2 touchdowns, maybe 3. If I recall, don't fact check me because I don't know. That's why I said I'm not sure. But, man, it's at home for the Bengals. The Ravens are just the better team. But I'm, in Lebanon. I'm right next to Cincinnati. We got to go to the Bengals because, we're in their homeland and it's a home game for them. So give me the Bengals. This is going to be a good game, though. The Ravens could win it, but we'll see. Nick is going to go Ravens, and so is Beagle. So this is one pick here where we differentiate, where, Nick and Beagle could both have that loss on the record, and I could have that win, or it could go the other way around. Not too sure. But 1 o'clock game of the week is definitely the Bills versus the Texans. Then 4:05 rolls around on Sunday. And you've got the Los Angeles Raiders versus the Denver Broncos. Is this the last game? Or does Devontae Adams even play in this game? If he does he get any receptions? How's that going around right now if he's on the trading block and he wants out of there and everyone knows he wants out of there? So how well is that going to... Never mind. As I just read 3 hours ago as I was looking down here, Adams among 7 Raiders out. So he's not even playing. So, and then their best... player on defense, Crosby, may not even be playing. So, does Gardner Minshew carry the Raiders to 3-2? I don't think so. The Broncos are 2-2. I think Bo Nix and the Broncos get this win. They got a gritty win last week versus Jets, and I think they carry that momentum and get a win here. Nick doesn't think so. He does think Gardner Minshew and the Raiders get this win. But Beagle is on my side, and he's going the Broncos as well. Your next 4:05 game is the Arizona Cardinals versus the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are getting healthier. Let's see here. George Kittle and Fred Warner are questionable, but I still do think that they will play. The Cardinals are 1-3, but their record could be a little different here. I feel like you don't know what to expect from the Cardinals. Kyle Murray can play really well. Marvin Harrison Jr. is playing up to the level we thought he would, except for, game 1 of the NFL season. And the 49ers, we know that they're probably going to win 11 games. But I think that'll just depend on, I know they have a lot of weapons, but it depends on Christian McCaffrey's status, because he's a huge part of that offense. So we'll, see with that. But, I personally do see the 49ers winning here. It is at home for them, but I think the Cardinals will give them a run for their money. Nick is going 49ers as well, and so is Beagle. So we all think the 49ers get this win, but like I said, that might be game of the 4 o'clock games. Next, you got the New York Giants versus Seattle Seahawks at 4:25. Giants are 1-3. Giants could also have a better record. They've had close games. Haven't been able to pull it out there in the end. The Seahawks are 3-1. They did lose to the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football last week, but they played one hell of a game. They were able to come back, almost win that game. Very high-scoring game. Kenneth Walker had 3 touchdowns. So, we'll just see what happens here. I think the Giants can play better than what their record states, but I do think the Seahawks get this win here. And I think the Seahawks at least win by 7. Nick's going Seahawks, and so is Beagle. So nobody thinks the Giants are going to win this game. Your last 4 o'clock game at 4:25 is the Green Bay Packers versus the LA Rams. Sorry, guys. The Rams are 1-3. They're playing like 1-3. They're not doing so well. You thought they'd be a little bit better this week, this year, but they just haven't been. But the Packers are 2-2. The Packers could be a little bit better. Jordan Love did get hurt, but he is on the comeback. Trying to get stronger, trying to get better. The Packers and Jordan Love have a long season ahead of them. But I think the Packers get this win on the road. Obviously it's a home game for the Rams, so their home fans are going to be out. It's going to be a tough environment to win in, but I do think that the Packers get this win. Nick thinks the Packers get this win, and so does Beagle. And he thinks another NFC North team, gets the win. Let's see here. So looking at the 4 o'clock games, I do think the Cardinals versus 49ers is that 4 o'clock game slot game of the week. I guess maybe you could say Packers and Rams, but like I said, the Rams just haven't been playing up to their potential, and I think the Packers should win that game. So that is it for that. Then we move on to Sunday Night Football at 8:20. So we came to Sunday Night Football. Carrie Underwood singing. She's getting you ready. She's getting you pumped up. Because it's America's team, Americans' disappointing team, I should say, versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, the terrible Towels. Does that block division on the Cowboys and Dak Prescott? Micah Parsons is not playing in this game, so that's a huge loss on defense there. They still got a good defense, though. How well does Dak play is on the road, 8:20. The Steelers have a great fan base. They will be out loud, proud, swinging that towel around. So it's going to be a very hard win for the Cowboys to get on the road if they get it. They're 2-2. The Steelers are 3-1. They're playing like 3-1. They are playing pretty well this year. And, I do think that the Steelers get this win. They've been playing like it. Not do I want to root for the Steelers. I'm not really a Steelers fan. But they've just been playing hard, gritty. Justin Fields has been playing very well. And they've been playing, very fundamental football. They could have beat the Colts, last week didn't do it. But I just don't trust the Cowboys to get this done. So I'm going to go the Steelers here. Nick thinks the Cowboys get this win on the road, which they could. It just, Steelers have a great defense, so it's gonna be hard to put up points. I won't lie. And then Beagle is going the Steelers. He's going the Steelers. Then that brings us to Monday night. We only have one Monday night game this week, and it's at 8:15. And it is the New Orleans Saints versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The beat-up Kansas City Chiefs, who are 4-0. They're one of the only undefeated teams left. Do they fall versus the Saints? Yes, if the refs don't help them. And I'll say it again, if the refs don't help them. You can have your own opinion. I'll have my own opinion, and that's just how I see it. Are the Chiefs a good football team? Absolutely. Patty Mahomes is one of the best QBs in the league. Top 3 for sure. But your best wide receiver just went down. Your draft pick this year. Or not your draft pick, but Rashid Rice went down. So your rookie has to step up is what I was getting to. I was just getting ahead of myself there. Xavier Worthy has to step up. How well does he play versus Saints? I do think that the Saints will give up a lot of points, but I think the Chiefs will as well. But I do see the Saints coming out. I see this game, +3 either way. So give me the Saints on the road, but it will be a pretty good game for Monday night. Does Patrick Mahomes have over/under at 1.5 turnovers? I don't know, but I know that they will be throwing the ball quite a bit. I know Kareem Hunt is now, going to start for them. Carson Steele did start Trip last week, didn't play too well, but he'll obviously get some reps in there. But Kareem Hunt is that older back. He is pretty good. And obviously he's coming back to the Chiefs to see if he can carry them to 5-0. I don't personally think so. I do see the Saints and Derek Carr and all the weapons that they have. I do see them getting this one here, on Monday, October 7th at 8:15. Nick thinks the Chiefs are going to get it, so he thinks they improve to 5-0. And Beagle thinks that the Saints win this game. So, wow, that's just crazy, we were the same for the most part, but there are some of those win-losses where, who does that put above, do we get above 500 this week? How exactly is the NFL season going to turn out? I have no idea. And that's why you tune in on Thursday, you tune in on Sunday, and then you tune in on Monday to find out. Because we just love football so much, and we just want to continue, to see our records to keep going up. I have the best record so far at 12-4. Knock on wood. Don't jinx myself. I would love to go perfect 16, 17-0, or whatever the amount of matchups that are playing, because there are bye weeks this week. The Lions are on bye, and then so are the Chargers. So, 2 teams have already started their byes. With that being said, that means byes will continue to happen 4 teams all the way, I think, up to, I want to say week 15, maybe week 16, since they added week 17 in there. And, it's going to be one hell of a season, and we have a long way to go. So thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Like I said, I know the video is coming out late, but I appreciate you guys, all tuning in, watching it and giving your picks and commenting below, who you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year. Is your record going better than ours? Like I said, I will add them all up for a regular season total. We'll do separately for playoffs and then add it up all together, and then who comes out first, second, and third. Will it be me? Will it be Beagle or will it be Nick? Stay tuned until week 17 to find out. Thank you very much and have a great night, guys.